have two options over here. First is completely WPF applications using .NET Framework. Second is .NET Core. So I would say, let me start with .NET Framework and let me create a basic application using .NET Platform, .NET, you can say the original .NET Framework, and we will migrate this application later on in .NET Core without changing anything in my code. It's a quite simple. I already wrote a blog on it. So completely up to you. I'm not sure whether did you learn this blog or not, but definitely I'll I'll show you today. So the first thing, suppose I created a .NET application. I selected the framework of WPF application here, which is .NET Framework. You can select the version, the platform. You can filter some entities from here. You can just keep press the next, and your project will be done. Or if you want to have some changes inside, like a project name, maybe demo application, or maybe demo app 3, or WPF, any beautiful name for you, or maybe suggestions for you. You can keep changing or keep updating your versions from here. Completely up to you guys which version you are working on, or maybe the suggested version of your organization. That is completely up to you. I don't have any other queries inside this. So in this case, I would say you can just press create button over here, and this create button will create a template for you. I'm not sure whether it's going to take a few minutes or few seconds. It's completely based on your machine where you are working on. Also, right now you are watching my screen, so completely based on my machine's performance. Even if it will take much time, I have a ready project that I created, just a blank project, just I created till next. So if it will take time, I'll show you over here. So as I can see, this project is complete, which is not taking much time to completing. So we can just directly working here. So this is my first project that I created using I would say Visual Studio templates, scaffolding templates, .NET Framework in WPF. So as we already know about the situation, like here, we do have a solution explorer that can explore any single property of my solution, my project, or any other single file or an object that we are going to use over in this application. The next tab, which is property, we can explore any property of any other tool. And the left side of this window, as I can see, which is a toolbox, solution explorer, server explorer, document, or leave it. So I have a toolbox over here. So as I can see, you can see in my left side, there is a toolbox. And the first thing which is coming over here at the top, which is Infragistics 19.1 and WPF. So as if you can see here, there's two versions. So don't be surprised, as I already installed a 19.1 and 19.2. As I told you in the beginning, I have both of the versions installed in my machine, which is completely up to you. If you are going to keep updating your versions, you will have both of the versions in your machine, or you can keep changing them like a replacement. If I don't want to having 19.1 in my machine, so I can install it, or you can say have both versions in my application. It might be I have a quite old version of Infragistics, like a 14.2. So it may be I have some earlier created application, or some old application where I'm using 14.2. So it's not a challenge. I can keep containing both the versions in my machine. Some of the project which is using, you can say, some older version, and some of the applications who is using quite the new version. So I can keep continue working without any hassle in my system. I am quite fine working with the both, you can say, versions on different applications in the same machine. So without installing and uninstalling something, you are quite okay with the both of the versions, or you can say multiple versions. Okay, so here you have capabilities to use some beautiful controls from, you can say, WPF itself, or if you want beautiful control with rich UI. So as I told you, we do have list of control, bunch of controls, some frameworks over here, which is completely up to you guys. So suppose you can just keep scrolling till down, and you can looking for the particular control that you want to use in your XAML. In WPF, we have two things to use. First is C# code, and second is XAML itself. So XAML is extensible application markup language, which is allow you to create an instances of your control in terms of tree structure, that is we call XML itself. So if you love to use XML, like if you're asking me, so I would say yes, I do love this structure oriented, because if I have to create an instance in C#, so I have to create multiple line just for a just for you can say something extra. Suppose there is a class like button in C# and I need to create instance and I need to define some properties of this button class. Suppose maybe there's a property like public string text, and I have some property get and set. So I just want to show you, if you need to create an instance of this button class and you need to define this property, so it's a quite multi-line statement. Yes, you can use inline statements too, but which is also, you can say, quite lengthy. So if you need to do that same, so just need to create button instance, maybe like this button one using new. This is a pretty simple, you can say, the way creating of instances in C#. And at the same time, if you need to assign the property, so you would do like that. Text equals to maybe click may. So this is quite simple. As long as you have to create, you have to assign some properties, you need to define. So this was a pretty first example. Or apart from them, even what you can do, you can use some other situations like this. I can create a single line statement where I can define like this. So which is completely up to you, which situation do you want to use. In this term, it will be compiled in a single statement, it will be executed in a single statement, and which is a multi-line statement. This is completely up to you which you prefer. But at the same time, if you need to create an instance of this object in terms of XML, so not in XML, in terms of XAML, so XAML. So in XAML, it would be like that button and like this, or maybe like this. So these two are a pretty simple example to create the instance instead of this and this. Here we can do that like these. So of the C# class, we can create some instances like this. If we need to define some property, here we can define like this. Text equals to click me. Quite simple, quite interesting. And the same here, if we need to define some property into multi-line statement, so text inside this, we can define its property. Again, it's completely up to you. So these are the two different situations for doing the same thing. There's a class, we need to create the instances. In C# we have two options to create, or in the same time we have two ways to create into the XAML. So it's completely up to you which you love to prefer. Yes, definitely we cannot do everything in this, that we can do this. So like both the situation has the pro and cons. So here we are not here to compare XAML and C#. Definitely this was just an introduction. If you are working on WPF, so that will be pretty helpful for you. You can just select according to your needs, but I would say keep them into mind and just keep looking for good content and good you can say code practices while writing some beautiful code. Okay, so I'll come back to my application. So again, I'll tell you here all the lists that you want to use, a list of feature, list of controls. It might be all the controls which is here, they all are not present over there, or it may be as it's a latest version than this one. So maybe I can say all the versions, those are available over here, those are not present here. So which is completely up to you, which version do you want to use. As you select a version or you drag your element from here to there, it will automatically get the reference for the same version directly into your project. So if you're having a question in your mind and you are not asking me, so let me tell you, If you are thinking how the controls directly come into this Visual Studio, as I told you in the beginning, there is nothing as a rocket science. You just need to go, you need to download our trial, and you just need to install that just as you did any other installation in your system. Next, 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 next. Keep looking for the terms and conditions, as we do not have much terms and conditions, but still in a general installation process, as just is a suggestion, don't do next, next, next without reading their terms and conditions. But yes, in our case, which is very quite simple, you just need to define a product key. If you don't have any product key, you can select uh, the free trial in the beginning, and you can just do the next, and you can select the memory space of your system drives. Where do you want to install this along with your Visual Studio? You can just select the, you can say the memory space, and you can just, you can say you are okay to go. You can just press the confirm installation. That's it. So once you've done it, and you just need to reset your Visual Studio, or I would say restart your Visual Studio, and all the toolbox of this particular product will automatically jump into your toolbox directly. You don't need to be hassle like you need to have their DLLs. No, you just need to go into toolbox. You'll find them. Okay. So here, suppose we to have so many controls, but suppose I need to use some samples here. So not more complex. You can select according to your need. Suppose I have a XAMPP calendar over here. So just for testing, I would just say I drag a control, which is a XAMPP calendar, and I just drop it on my, you can say on my window area. So once I do that, you can say this will automate, this drag process will create an instance of XAMPP calendar class, and it will automatically create that instance in my XAML of this code. As you can say in the down below, in the XAML window, you can say in this particular grid section of this window, we do have a new instance now, which is XAMPP calendar with some default property like for margin, for orientation, horizontal or vertical alignment, anything. Okay, so this control is anonymous till now because this control doesn't have any ID or name to call in my, to be called in my CS class. We can define it later on if you need to call this, you can say calendar control in your application. So I would say once you drag you some controls in your application, it will automatically add some references. You can see here, once you drag, so it will give you two references for now. First is for Visual Studio, it's an Infragistics WPF assembly, and the second is for calendar. So I just want to tell you, like, we do not put all the controls all together into a single DLL, so that you can have all the assemblies all together. We would love to separate it because in this term, suppose there is a customer, as I told you when I was just scrolling my website, there's so many customers in this industry. They came to us like, I do not want to use buttons from your, I don't want to use this. I want to use calendar only. I want to use calendar only. I want to use grid only. I want to use charts only. So which is completely based on your requirement. We do not force you to put all the assembly in your project because that can make your application size quite heavier. But we would say if you need only calendar, just have a reference of this calendar. If you need, so this is the, you can see the generic and the general, it will come along with everything. Excuse me. But after this, if you need to use button, so button will get there, you can say on assemblies along with that. So button is just an example. You can ask me any other control. Okay, so this is just how we can drag some controls, how we can drop those controls in my application, and how I can just keep continuing my work. So before doing some extra things, let me just run this application. We have next 20 minutes to wind up the session. So I would do this process quite, you can say, fast bit now. So if you are facing some challenges, please do let me know. You have something good in next 20 minutes, like how to convert an application from .NET to .NET Core in the easiest manner. So see, As now you can see this application is running in your machine and you can have just a look. So this was that window where we put it my calendar, and you are able to use this calendar. You are able to select multiple dates. You are able to navigate and have a navigation between multiple you can say months and years if you want. So this beautiful control will allow you to use any other controls, you can say calendar things in your application. I would say to have some logical operations over here. Suppose uh, let me jump in my code. Suppose here, let me make this separate. Let me come into my XAML. Suppose I need to call this control in my C# elements. So let me put a name over it, maybe Calvin, or it would, I would say Zam Calvin. Okay. Now, I would like to have a event over there. So once any date will be selected, select date change. So this is an event. Let me trigger this. So once we will trigger this, it will call an handler itself. So I created a new handler for this, and that handler will have its definition in my C sharp, you can say C sharp code file. So once any user will call this particular, or you can say will call or trigger this particular event, it will jump to this particular event. Let me show you how quickly it will work. So for the same thing, let me have some more things over here. Let me have a label over here. Suppose I put a new label. Let me change some property over it. So let me jump to the property section, select an F4. So F4 will jump to the property, and let me change its text. And in the text section, let me make some big font so that you'll be able to read it properly. Bold, completely up to you. Suppose new selected date. So, and I would say make a copy of it. So here is another one. Let me go back to the property and let me change the content of it. Maybe 00/00/00. This may be the default content for this. I don't want to make it bold. So here it should have some ID tech. Maybe I have some audio disturbance. I just want to make sure, am I audible? In the attendees, am I audible? I hope I lost my connection in between. Can please anybody tell me, like, am I audible or not? Let me make Gitika you unmute. Gitika, can you unmute yourself?
Yes, you are audible.
Okay, so I was lost somewhere in between.
Not really.
Okay, okay, cool. Thank you. Okay, so before jumping somewhere, I seen there was a hand raised by Nitish Pal. So Nitish, I'm just making you unmute. So would you like to ask something?
Yeah, like, can you hear me?
Yes, yes, I can hear you perfectly.
Okay. Earlier when you were showing all those doc things, like all the data grids and all that products.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know, like earlier we also looked at this thing, and so we had just like this one query where
Yes.
like if certain UI element is given and it's not in your stack of things, like let's say
Okay.
chart, there are a certain number of charts and we want something specific.
Yes, great.
So what to do about that? Like we wanted like heat maps. So if heat map is not there, how
Okay.
can
So what we can do, Nitish, we can closely work with you and your organization, and we will definitely love to hear from you what you want, or what are not in our library. We'll definitely have this session, and we can talk one to one on this, and we can get your idea and can put into our roadmap.
Okay. Like as of now, do you have like a sort of a toolkit where like we can assemble ourselves, something like that, in your UI?
Yes. So what happens in any other controls and in any other offering by Infragistics, all that controls, once you purchase, all that controls coming along with its editable project, or in other terms, I would say they come with the source code. So suppose there is a chart that is you required, and you need to change in slightly their UI, you can do that by your own.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
Infragistics always give this freedom to our, you can say, to all our customers. And I would say Gitika is in the call, and definitely after this session, I would give you my email ID. If you can just leave me you can say a one-to-one mail, so that will be a good connect, and we would definitely love to hear from you more about things.
Okay. Thank you. That's all.
Thanks. Nish. Okay. So now here, this was just a label. Let me make this label as maybe again a name entity, maybe LBL1. You can give some meaningful name. So as of now, I have two labels, so LBL2. So I have two labels now here. If I'll jump over here, so I would say I can get that selected date from maybe the date one from the XAMPP calendar selected date, and from this, okay, it's a quite nullable, so I can make this object as nullable. So here's a lbl2 dot content. I want to replace this with date dot to string, or if I will run this application, so you can see it's working completely, and this application is in, you can see if I'm selecting any date, so it's working perfectly. So all the controls where you get the values, they are from .NET itself, and this calendar was from, you can say, Infragistics. So you have capabilities to sharing the data in between them or anything, because the data is coming throughout the instances. That's it. Okay, so now this is a .NET application, and as I told you in the beginning, we are going to have a migration also today, like how you can migrate this .NET application from this .NET application to, you can say, .NET Core application. So I would say there's a quite simple steps that you need to achieve, and for that I would recommend you a URL in our official website, and I'm just going to share that URL into the chat box, so that if you want, you can have a quick look over it with all. Please do reply on this chat if you got this link. So this is just a sample link how you can start working with our NuGet packages. So it's a pretty simple thing to do. So what you need to do, if you need to migrate your application, first thing I would say, I already wrote a blog over it, how you can migrate. There is no need to go and no need to read this article anymore now, because I'm going to show it live. So the first thing, I have this application, and in this application I have consumed some references from some third party like Infragistics, and I have some references from .NET, from you can say from .NET itself. So the first thing that we have to analyze, do this project is compatible with the .NET Core or not. So the first thing that you have to check, whether we can convert this application into .NET Core or not. This is quite simple, quite simple. So because we have to check all the references that we consumed in this application, they are able to work with .NET Core. As you know, .NET Core has some different standards to use in the assembly. So the first thing to use, you need to go here, open containing folder. You need to get the path, like here is your complete project, this demo application free, and you need to check whether this complete project is able to migrate or not. So what you have to do, I have a link over here. I can share it with you anytime. You need to check, you need to download this portable analyzer, which is a completely freely available on GitHub. You can just go and download this portable analyzer. This portable analyzer will export. This is an open source by even Microsoft team itself. So it's a portable analyzer. It's an exe that can read every single reference which is available in your package, and it can analyze whether they are you can say able to migrate or not. I downloaded it, but I don't need it anymore because I already downloaded it day before yesterday. So I can jump into my download section separately. So here in my download section, I have this portable analyzer already here. So what I can do, I can just run it in my machine. It will give me some tricks in first time to enable. You can do that. So what I have to do, I have to select my project, this project over here, and we can just go here and Nitin, there should be something. There should be something sources, and in sources there should be something repositories, and repositories, I believe the name was demo app WPF3. This was the name. So I just select this complete folder, analyze. So once you analyze this, it will give you a Excel sheet to export, to check whether all the things which is consumed by this project, are they able to, you can say, migrate into you can say .NET Core or not. So once you have it, just open it. You'll have a percentage over here. So once you will open it, it will open that particular XML file. Click on it, it will open that. Let me go and check in my downloads. I believe it must be in download if it's not able to open. Okay, it's not there, but yes. Okay, let me close this for a while. Don't save. I think it's something. It's working out. I think it was something with my Excel instance. So you can see here completely all the application, all the assemblies. So all the third-party assemblies, because all the .NET assemblies are .NET based on .NET standard, so they are completely migratable. But apart from those .NET assemblies, I have consumed here exam calendar or any other thing over here, which is targeted version here. But are they able to work with .NET Core? So this 100 is in percentage. You have to keep looking for this number. If it's 100, so it's perfectly without any doubt you can migrate your application. But if it's not 100%, you can just have a mind. You just need to verify them from the product owner. Like if it's 100%, apart from 100%, if it's suppose 50%, so we need to go and we need to ask to the Infragistics whether we support it or not. So this product, this you can say the analyzer will help us for a first analyzing step. So once you've done it, just go into a solution explorer, and the first thing you have to do, unload your project. I just did that. Unload my project, right click on this project, open your project, edit your project .csproj file. Here is all the project references and the structure which is designed by .NET framework. Just select all and backspace, delete everything. You do not have to remember anything about this project, how it's working. We just need some basic things to remember. As what we have to do, we just need to remember these properties, that's it. So the first attribute that we have to use here, which is project. In project, we need to define which SDK we do want to use it. The second thing, we need to use property group. You do not have to use this if you don't have consumed any third-party references till now. So you just need to do that. You need to use output type, which is Windows exe, target framework of .NET Core 3.1, as which is the best, and you can say the latest one. Use WPF true, And if it's window form, so you, instead of this use WPF, you need to write here use win forms and true. So generate assembly information, make it false if, because it's make a duplication of multiple versions assembly, keep together. And if you consumed some third-party packages like Infragistics we did, so you just need to put one more property here, that is we call item group. And in item group, you need to put all the third-party package information like infragistics.wpf, infragistics.wpf.calendar, and the version of that. That's it. That's it. You do not have to do anything. This information will automatically recovered by your Visual Studio, and this information will be recovered by NuGet package. Let me show you. Just save this, close this, and let me reload your project again. Reload this project. Once you will reload this project, you can see here reloading project file in the status bar at the bottom. Ready dependencies, you can see it's and dependency restoring packages, you can see here all the packages, and you can see here packages item does not supporting preview, but don't worry about that. Let's see, are they recovered? Yes, perfectly they are recovered. So there is no issue right now. Just close it and try to run your application. Once you do that, you'll see your application is working same as it is we did in .NET platform, and now my application is completely working in .NET Core too. So just see how hassle-free you can convert your application without any dependency change, without any code, without anything. Your entire .NET application got changed into, and let's see, as I have license of the previous one, it was perfectly. But as I just moved to .NET Core, because I did not register this project in my account, I can do that later on. But you can see this is completely working perfectly without any problems, any errors, anything. And you can see here the framework that you are using here, which is .NET Core now, no more .NET framework. So let's see how your .NET design .NET application got recovered everything from its package itself. So which is completely fine, and your application is working. So I hope this was the agenda that we have discussed in the beginning, and we covered almost all the things. Still, if you want to ask anything, completely mic over to you guys. I would love to hear something from you. If anybody need to know anything, so you can just free to go. As I got one hand raise, one more new hand raise in my section from yes, Pavani. Okay, can I?
Hello.
Yes, hi sir. Can you hear me?
Hi. Yes.
Yes, yes.
Uh,
Please just ask your question.
these controls are supported to MVM structure.
Yes, sir. Definitely, we do support that MVVM architecture.
Okay. And
Even not MVVM, we do love to work with Prism also.
okay. Okay. Thank you. Live chat
Great.
is there.
Live chat for what? Live chat feature for control. So do you need to live chat with us or support team?
Live chat for data visualization, like bars and.
Okay, so I don't think so. We do have any controls like live chat, but yes, because all the controls, as we told you, all the controls are work on front end. We can give you any other thing that you want to implement live chat, but the code to implement, because in a live chat we have to make some, you can say, connections between two different sockets. So that development that you have to do from your end.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Thanks, sir. Thanks for your question. It was a good question even. Anyone else? Please raise your hand. I'd definitely love to hear from you, and I will make you unmute so that you can ask. You can put something into the chat box. I didn't get any single message from you guys, from a beautiful audience till now. Okay, Anjali. So, hi, Anjali.
Hi. So I actually put a question there in the chat. So the
But
question
I
was
didn't.
something. The question is something along the lines of what Nitish asked, like if there are any options to customize the controls with respect to look and feel. So
Yes.
whatever I could understand was that we will have access to the source code and we can customize on top of it by extending the classes or something like that. So can you
Yes,
just talk a little bit more on that?
yes. So once you purchase license, so and once you register a product key in your Infragistics account, so you have a option to download the entire assembly in your local system. So once you'll do that, you'll get the entire source code in your machine. You can just double click on it and it will open the Visual Studio project. You can just go ahead and you can just edit any other code. But in this term, our support team will not be able to assist you in the editing code, but rest of the code will definitely assist.
So then if there are any updates in the libraries on your side, so then how
Yes,
are they backward compatible?
yes, as I told you, like in this term, even in my machine, if you've seen, I do have two different versions, and I'm freely can work with two different versions. It may be one of the quite old version and one of the you can say the best new version. So there is no hassle in between two different versions because we manage here the assembly versions, and we achieve .NET standards in there, and you can directly jump into the different versions. We are completely compatible with them.
So if we edit in one version, we will have to make the same edit in the older version if we want the same effect, right?
No, in this case, if you added some controls, so these assemblies will be your private assemblies. I'm sure you must be aware with the private
Yeah.
assemblies.
Right.
है ना? So those assemblies will be your private assembly. You can use them in your project where you want. They're not going to have any update. For the update version, you need to install the separate things.
Thank you. Got it. Thank you so much. It was a great
Thank you, Anjali.
presentation.
Thank you.
I
It was a
really
good question. Thanks, Anjali. Thanks, Anjali. Anyone else, if you want to hear something from my side, I would love to revert you back. Any other person? Okay, so I don't find any other questions in chat. So I'm not sure of why it is, but yes, for me, this was a great session with you guys as always, and we would love to have more sessions quite in future. So thanks a lot, everybody in this session, for your precious time and trusting us, like we are going to optimize your 1 hour. And thanks a lot, everybody. We are going to have a good session in detail on different sessions if you want. So what I just want to share before wrap up my session, which is just my email ID. You can just keep looking for it. If you need to know anything, just please leave me an email on my this chat, and you will be get reply by from my side, my team, very soon. So this is my email ID, nsharma@infragistics.com. You can just leave me a message over it. Any other questions that you have regarding a product, regarding any other things where I can give my suggestions, as till now I have near about 10 years of experience, near about, you can say, the entire development era. You can ask me anything. If I will be in that particular topic, definitely will give you a reply. And so it was interesting sessions with everybody, and I got some queries from you. Still, if you have any more queries, please leave me an email, or you can unmute yourself, or you can raise your hand. I can unmute you. You can ask me. Okay, so I think there is no more questions. So thank you, everybody. Thanks everyone in this call. So thank you so much, and thanks Gitika for keep supporting me as always. So we would love to have more sessions in future. If you want to put some closing note, Gitika, so I can unmute you. Gitika, can you unmute yourself?
Yeah, thanks Nitin for this brief session, and thanks for the audience to join in this session. It was a great learning, and look forward to hear from you all. And do drop an email to Nitin. We'll be there to support you and assist you, whether it is related to pricing, it is related to renewals, it is related to upgrade, or any other support. Thank you, everyone. Thanks.
Thanks, everyone.